is just fantastic.
Captain's Log, Subdays 220224.5. While we wait for Subfleet's FedEx equivalent guy to collect the scapegoat, I've kept myself busy by adding new decorations to my pod and repeatedly smacking Krummenborg, now Scutterborg, in the balls with a belt sander. Considering what is currently going on in the world today, I think we could all do with a laugh. I'll try my best, okay? Welcome everyone to the exhibition of stupid people. Sorry there's no avatar, I have a horrible headache. But I really want to make a video. Go figure, it would be on the day when I normally put in the most effort. So to start, we're going to talk about catfishing. Makeup is regarded as quite the powerful thing because it has the ability to transform someone into something that they wish they were, or simply enhance features that were already beautiful to begin with, and in some cases, make you look like a complete and utter trollop. So it is with this in mind, we go to social media user Valeria Voronina, who has amassed a substantial following on many different platforms, due to, let's say, how different she appears once she has applied her makeup. In a more recent video, Valeria left people wondering if she really was the same person that first appeared in the video. Here is the picture of Valeria without any makeup on. Looks like a whammon. And this is a picture of her with makeup. That is a significant change. Such a change, in fact, even I had to admit, I'm not convinced that's the same person, with the more glaring difference being the nose. Others pointed out that at this point we need a time-lapse of you doing the makeup, which actually I think would be a fantastic way of showing that you're still the same person with a different face. Is it clip-on like Lego? Now of course some have defended Valeria, saying that she has many times proven that this is the same person. I have to disagree a little. If you put that much effort into looking like that, chances are you are not happy with what you've already got, and you're taking what you've got for granted. This could be a male thing. I don't care about makeup, beyond the obvious lip liner, eyeshadow, wings and all that, mascara, fake lashes. The foundation obviously I put on with my blusher. Then I get my 8-inch stilettos and hit the town like a real Chad. Some have suggested that Valeria's transformation is akin to that of a catfish, to which Valeria's response is yes, I am a very proud catfisher. Bravo, Valeria. At least you have the balls to say what you are, or at least own it, so that the meme or the, let's say, offense perhaps, dies off faster than the guy's boner when he sees you take your makeup off. I'm joking. Don't take this too serious. I'm genuinely just having a laugh, alright? I have a headache. Can I have sympathy points? So next we're going to go to RAF Air Marshal Andrew Turner. He is one of the country's most senior RAF officers, who was recently suspended when he got into trouble with the police because his neighbours were not best impressed with what they saw and the reason he gave for what they saw. So neighbour Simon Herbert alerted the police after he saw Air Marshal Turner in the paddock of his £1.5 million thatched cottage. Which sounds like a nothing. Neighbours and all that, right? Well, this gets a little bit interesting because Andrew Turner was naked, and so the very first thing that Simon Herbert saw was the moon and a chocolate starfish, as Andrew Turner did not bend with his knees, but had bent over to grab something. As a consequence for bearing his naked booty hole, he was handed a community resolution order after officers who attended the report of the public order incident consulted with the CPS, which has led Simon Herbert to believe that Andrew Turner has essentially gotten away with this because of the role he holds within the RAF. Andrew Turner was also ordered to write a letter of apology, which Simon Herbert does not find to be remotely sincere, and if anything, nothing more than a vapid gesture, simply complying with orders handed to him for presenting his booty hole for inspection. So why was Andrew Turner even in Simon Herbert's paddock in the first place? Why was he naked? Was he a naturist? No. Actually, it's something far simpler. See, Andrew Turner told police that he didn't bare his bottom at Herbert, but he was in fact bending over to pick up a tennis ball for his dog. And the reason he had taken his clothes off was because he was hot. You just can't make this stuff up. We would here on this channel salute you, Andrew Turner, but we're worried if we did, you'd just goatsy. The neighbor has since gone on to demand a proper apology. Now I think this is something you need to sweep under the rug. You've seen a man's naked bottom while he retrieved a tennis ball for his dog. Okay, I'm of course joking. A real sincere apology is of course what matters. And if you as neighbors care about each other's existence and getting along as neighbors, perhaps a resolution needs to be met. Perhaps a summit on a nudist beach. But as a consequence, we'll have some hungry German shepherds on standby. See how brave you're feeling then when you say you're hot. So the next subject, I saw this via Tim Kronsel from a Yahoo article where he has said, fired for speaking the truth, very sad. Show me the lie. Lie? Oh, it's a question. Lie? Title, pro gamer fired after saying short men do not have human rights. On my Discord server, anyone who is 5'3" or shorter does not have human rights. But please feel free to give me your money via Patreon, or channel membership, or Twitch. I kid, of course. It is merely a joke on the server. If you don't like the joke, do let my mods know, and I will personally publicly mock you for it. I kid. We are an inclusive server. Legit, we're not complete and utter dicks. Well, okay, one of us is, and it's not me. He knows who he is. So back to the article. Tanukana in the picture showing off her gaming skills for the press. She is a professional Tekken player who was booted off the Osaka-based esports team Cyclops Athlete Gaming for, quite frankly, mad bants during a live stream. Now, Cyclops Athlete Gaming, or CAG, compete in first-person shooter games like PUBG, Call of Duty, and Rainbow Six Siege, which means for those who don't follow these games, I'll go through them for you. PUBG, hacked. Call of Duty, hacked. Rainbow Six Siege, nowhere near as good as Vegas 2, okay? As well as fighting games like Tekken, and she has featured in mainstream Japanese press, including the clip from newspaper Kobe Shimbun, where she was once considered a rising star. Now, on February 15th, she said, and I quote, "Men who are under 170 centimeters don't have human rights," adding that they should look into getting bone-lengthening surgery. The average height in Japan is 170.8 centimeters. In Japanese, the word for human rights is jinkin, but in gaming parlance, jinkin refers to an item or character that all players need to have. So there is a debate going on as to whether or not the slang led to the remarks. Now, because of optics and how Japan like to shame people quite well, they're good at it in fact, Tanukana has apologized. She was yeeted from the team, and Cyclops, the team itself, have had to apologize as well because optics mean everything there. But what do I think? Should I on my server now initiate a rule that if you're 5'7" or under, you are now a male gnome? I personally think I should ask my server judges, the mods on my server. It sounds like a good idea, and I know a lot of guys who would fall under this bracket. At present, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are hardly the most popular of ex-royals to ever exist ever, although they are positioned just above Prince Andrew, for obvious reasons. With Prince Harry, it's because, well, people were quite on side when he and Meghan first got together, when they had their first child, when they got married, not necessarily in that order. But then they took a massive dump on the royal family and they became essentially social pariahs in this country. There are still people that support them, of course, that blindly believe what comes out of a former fancy-dress Nazi's mouth, and his wife, of course, who is his mouthpiece. What many of you might not know, though, is that Prince Harry has tried to keep a legal fight with the government secret. The reason why is because Prince Harry has sought far-reaching confidentiality concerning police protection. He not only doesn't want anyone knowing about it, but he also wants it. The thing is, High Court documents show that he sought this confidentiality order on documents and witness statements surrounding his case against the government. The Home Office, though, has just said, "Yo fam, in this one rare instance we're going to do something right. We're going to be transparent because there must be a sufficiently good reason in the wider public interest to justify the departure from open justice that such an order involves." When this, though, broke and went public, Prince Harry and his PR experts decided to spin this, briefing the journalists that Harry was being denied the right to pay for bodyguards. By the way, you can pay for your own bodyguards all you like, but you're not a royal member now. You're an ex. You cling on to a title that you gave up, that was given to you, in fact, as a wedding present. "Oh, but it's my birthright." With that birthright came a responsibility, which you decided you no longer wanted in favor of the money from Spotify and Netflix, which you're still cashing in on. for obvious reasons. You do have a rather large mansion to pay for, and relevancy to cling on to. Now the question really is, should Prince Harry have the right to police protection? The answer is no. The police have a job to do in this country. He is no longer a priority for them. They have a duty, yes, and there are police officers that exclusively work under the royal family, but he's not a part of that. He retired from it. He walked away to pastures anew, where there was more money on the table and where he could whine like a little bitch about how the media are to blame for his mum's death, while simultaneously using the media, unironically, at every moment to maintain his relevancy to complain about the very same media. It's quite astonishing, really. Hypocrisy, thy name is Harry, perhaps? If it isn't obvious by now, I'm not a fan of him anymore. I used to think he was quite amusing when he was being an edgy boy. Not so much anymore. By the way, when he claims to have wanted to pay for police protection, it's a lie. In fact, it was proven when last June when he came to this country to unveil a statue to his mother, Princess Diana, he did not offer to pay for shit. You lying little bitch. Now moving on, we're going to go to DoorDash. They seem to crop up quite often here, but we have a more recent. A DoorDash man strikes again in a viral TikTok posted this month, which has since sparked debate about the impact of refund scams on DoorDash, an on-demand delivery platform for food and groceries. A TikTok user by the name of Hawk of Hell, which has now over 387,000 views, shows a fast food meal from Sonic Drive-In, cool name, implied to have been received for free as a result of scamming DoorDash. The same creator then liked one comment which explained the common scam, which reads as, for anyone asking, what it is basically you tell them to leave it at the door, wait 15 minutes and say it was stolen and you get refunded. What a shitty thing to do. You realize then when this happens now, many people are then going to be asked to wear some kind of camera on their body, like police officers do, and they will then have to wait until you arrive or take the food away if you do not arrive or collect it in a timely fashion. The last thing you want is one of those little cards put through your door saying it's been dropped off at a depot and you can collect it in 48 hours. But it is a possibility. I don't think your Sonic Drive-In will taste as good, but I could be wrong. Perhaps don't be a complete nutter twat about this. Okay, fantastic. So next, Amouranth. If you find it and take a pic and tweet it, I'll give you something, which is a retweet of her other account. These mysterious billboards popping up around LA, send me pics if you've seen one. A follow-up tweet, 60% off my only fupa to celebrate the billboard situation. This is quite the advertising venture for someone to not only promote their 24/7, which they own, but also their only fupa account. I thought it was quite amusing and just wanted to highlight it for a moment, because it's actually real. With what Amouranth claims to make from OnlyFans and other sites anyway, this all benefits her. That's not a bad thing at all, by the way. I just found it funny. I should also point out this is not something new. Others have done it in the past, and I really can't hate the player for promoting themselves in LA of all places. Now, if you could do me a favor and get one of those, I don't know, in the sticks somewhere, I think that'd be quite funny. I doubt it would make you any money, but it would be amusing. And then perhaps get it on the White Cliffs of Dover. Quite the monument, although you might want to draw an outline on your body. You both are very similar in colour. So next we're going to revisit last week's discussion on Lord of the Rings, because discussion has continued when it comes to respecting the source material, along with the resurfacing of the term go woke or go broke, or get woke, go broke. Because many more fans now are starting to be more vocal, with Amazon's $1 billion Rings of Power series, which people believe is because, again, black elves. What about the pointy ears? Tolkien never alluded to those. There are certain liberties people don't care about. Race is one of them. Although there are other races in Middle-earth. Couldn't bring those up though, could you? No. It is worth mentioning that while a lot of this is inspired by Lord of the Rings and the works of J.R.R. Tolkien, they don't have the rights to it. So they're going to take liberties because they don't have the approval to actually do it the way Tolkien would have wanted. Many complaints do center around go woke, go broke, but also the fact that the great depth of thought that went into Tolkien's books was no longer present or being paid homage to in what we were seeing so far from the trailer and the teasers for Rings of Power, being quoted as saying, "So sad you just used Tolkien's ideas to write a completely different book, and one that is only there to pay homage to confused woke ideas, instead of the great depth of thought founded in his books." Another, "Evil cannot create anything new. They can only corrupt and ruin what good forces have invented or made. That is a quote from Tolkien himself. That sounds familiar. Now, I do firmly believe that you can only really criticize something once you've seen the finished product. I said this with Ghostbusters when they rebooted it as an all-whamming thing and it failed magnificently. It was bad, okay? The same should apply to the Rings of Power. What we're seeing so far is not a good sign, but there's still a chance, either for them to make changes. I don't think racial should be an element at all. Just slap a Poirot mustache on the Dwarven Queen, please. It's at least a middle ground. Many, though, think that this is pathetic and that it is entirely about race. And because people have devolved it down to the extremes, which is very cliche, you're going to be hard-pressed to address that problem, or criticism being levied at you saying, but you already have an issue because it's a race and black elves and blah-ree. No, it's not that. It is widely believed that because of the success of Game of Thrones, many will look aside or look away at the bits they find egregious in favour of, but more Middle-earth content. And there is a point to that. It is set during the Second Age, a vastly different time. But that does not mean the criticism that the show is facing is coming from anyone that could be considered a gatekeeper, or someone that themselves suffers from a form of racism. It is not something so complex. You've paid hundreds of millions for the rights. You have so much material that you should have access to or pay respect to. It's nothing more complicated than that. Why this seems to be more complicated is entirely because you're trying to make it more complicated. At least tell me you've read the Silmarillion, please.
Hi. So I was working out just now and I just have to get something off my chest.
Yes, this video was sent to me on Twitter. I actually can't remember who it was. I do apologise. If you do let me know in the comments, I'll remember to thank you in the future. Maybe, if I remember.
You know, I know societally we don't care about fat people or folks in larger bodies.
I firmly believe that is an inaccurate statement, because it depends on when we need to care. It is entirely subjective, of course. While I don't think it's right for humanity to be so judgy, when you push your ideas onto others, people take great umbrage with it. And you've been doing it for years, whether that be talking about your eating disorders, while you progressively get bigger, which has led to many rather interesting questions, mostly centering around whether or not it is in fact a contradiction. Gonna insert this now. I'm all for body positivity, 100%. I do not support the fat acceptance movement, because it is poison as a movement anyway.
And it's incredibly frustrating because what do we do? Where are our safe spaces?
Your safe space can be wherever you want it to be. What I think you mean to say is, when can my safe space be also in your safe space, where there may not be as much representation or as many available seats? And no, I don't mean that as a joke. It is a running, prevailing theme that's been going on for a while. When a space is occupied by people who are considered haram, then you find that once those people are outed as being haram, invariably that place gets taken over and then summarily ruined.
No matter what we do, no matter what we say, no matter how we present in the world, folks still criticize us, judge us, deem us as so many things that we are not, and then wonder why we are angry, wonder why we struggle with mental health.
So I was right. You're trying to get people to accept you for who you are while you're simultaneously trying to push your ideas onto them. Okay, that's cute. By the way, part of that I thought you were reciting lyrics to a song. And as far as taking criticism and jokes and judging goes, everyone in every walk of life is criticized. Everyone in every walk of life is judged. Everyone in every walk of life is mocked. Oh, but it is more prevalent with the fatties. Am I right? No, you will find people in every community saying that they are the most persecuted. You are no exception. People accept you, but they will also judge you for your bad decisions, your poor decisions, your bad look, your poor health, diminishing health. You may have just bragged about coming out of the gym, but considering how big you are, that doesn't mean you put in a solid workout, because you haven't gotten any smaller. But of course we have to accept that you can be your size and go to the gym and still be that size? See, humanity's judgy for a reason. This doesn't make sense.
And it's so frustrating because it's like, what is the end goal? What do people want For fat people, do you just want us dead?
No, most people want you to live the longest, fullest, and healthiest life you can live. The older you get, the more likely it is that your health problems will be exacerbated by your weight. That is backed up by mountains of scientific evidence. You ignore it though because you have apparently got a blind spot. I would want you to live your longest, fullest, healthiest life, but you choose to wipe decades off it. You know this. I'm all for empowering people of varying bodies and shapes, 100%, and there are going to be people who will struggle because they can't be what they think the beauty standard is. Here's what the beauty standard is. You ready? Brace yourselves, people. It's really advanced shit. Simply be yourself. If being yourself is morbidly obese, then you are being yourself. If others judge you for that, they are judging you because they can, and they want to. Ignore them. It's not rocket science, nor is beauty for that matter. So no one wants you dead, because it would take a while to cremate, I'm just saying. They want you to be healthy, or healthier than you currently are.
Do you just want us to suffer?
I don't think you understand the word suffering in this context, because if anyone's going to be suffering, it's going to be the person carrying all that extra weight that their body will not be able to handle in the long term.
Because you would rather make fun of us instead of doing your inner work, instead of you going to therapy, instead of you doing self-reflecting, instead of you wondering how you harm and impact others with your words and actions, because you hate yourself so much that you treat people like shit, especially fat people.
One of the greatest tools available to any victim or alleged potential wannabe victim is the art of deflection. It is quite the skill to say that we're not the problem, you are, because you have your own issues that need psychiatric evaluation. I mean, it's not to say they don't, let's face it, everyone does in some way, but yours are very physical, and in the context of this discussion, the physical is going to outweigh the mental by a considerable margin.
But yet fat people are the ones that have it all wrong, right? Because it must be us, right? It's not societally. It's not. It's just our faults.
And there is another mistake. Assigning blame. No one is blaming you for anything, unless you've gone to a doctor and they've told you, yo, you're fat, and your fat is the problem. But even in that context, no one's blaming you. I would say get off that high horse, but that would be an ever so slightly inaccurate analogy. So perhaps I'll say the following instead. Stop thinking of yourself as so high and mighty. Everyone is wrong at something, everyone is going to get something wrong. But you are so arrogant, you cannot see yourself as anything but right. And apparently also the voice for the voiceless. By the way, the only reason they're voiceless is because they've got a Twinkie in their mouth.
There's no happy ending to this. There's no nice message. I'm just exhausted. And you guys should do better. It's not our fault that we're miserable. It's literally how we are treated every single waking day. Whether I'm leaving the gym, taking care of my son, I'm criticized 24/7 because of the body I live in, and I'm tired. You guys need help, not me.
Oh, there was so much to unpack from that. But I will instead do the following. Draw you back to an earlier comment where I said, art of deflection. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. It's not our fault. The body we live in, it's not our fault. When I leave the gym, it's not our fault. I'm criticized for everything I do. Everyone is. Some are more vocal, verbal, prominent, present. Yes. But that doesn't diminish what we get. Get crap day in and day out. And I get that it overwhelms us from time to time, I really do. But to then say everyone else needs help, not me, would be the wrong way of looking at it, because then you are still holding on to the belief that any fault of any problem you have is everyone else's. You are pushing a message the majority do not agree with. And the sooner this gets into your head, the better. Fat acceptance movement, FAM, is not acceptable because it does not champion people who are larger at all. It simply enables an earlier grave. Now, as we're done, I'd love to know what you all think. Please do let me know in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, smash the like. It really helps the channel, by the way, so smash the like, leave the obligatory comment, and send me prayers for my head. I recommend a sacrifice. blood for the blood god, skulls for the skull throne. Hopefully it's gone later, so I can stream on Twitch. If I don't see you there, have a great day and thank you very much for listening.